Alrighty, guys, we are live, and we're just going to kind of dive right into it. I know I just clicked live, so I don't expect anybody to be on quite yet, but I'll repeat this a couple times. And if you are already on and you have any questions or comments, just comment below on the live stream, and I will check the comments periodically and try to answer any questions. But as you saw the topic and what I want to cover here today, and the headline on the screen, organic growth approaches and strategies and how to monetize. So I had shown some screenshots in the post lately, and I'm happy to share them here when I stop screen share at the end and show you guys if you would like. But right now, with some of the new things I've been trying and experimenting with organically, I'm seeing significant, results and leaps and bounds in terms of engagement, in terms of reach. All the things that I keep hearing from people are dead or dying on Facebook particularly, but I'm hearing it on a lot of different platforms. Organic reach is down. It's impossible. Content's just not catching like it was, right? So I want to go through some things that I've been doing and the 5 things that have been really relevant in what I'm doing lately, and go in depth about, some of the different ways and angles that you can do this for your own particular offer, business, etc. Right? So number one is always research and testing. And one thing I say to a lot of people, I've been talking to private clients and other kind of high level people, and a lot of people aren't doing this. I kind of just do this as a byproduct of my day, but I try to always wind down and close down my laptop by about 7 p.m. There's always outliers. For instance, the other night I remember I was on here till at least 9 p.m. before I shut it and did this. But generally speaking, at or before 7 p.m. I like to kind of disconnect from my workstation. But does that mean I stop working? As you guys probably know, watching as entrepreneurs, the answer is no. I'm still doing things from my phone. And that's kind of where I dive into research and testing mode. What I'm doing at that time, kind of when I wind down and I'm, sitting around lounging, I'm going into groups that I know are most relevant, most active, allowing the most posts and the most content, especially stuff that's pertinent and relevant to my audience, my offers, the problems that I solve, etc. Right? And I'm going in there and I'm seeing what are the hot topics. I'm finding what we call outlier posts, right? If I scroll through 10 posts and on average they got 11 comments and 17 likes, and then I find one with 87 comments and 87 comments and 113 likes, that's kind of the outlier. I'm going to look at why that post is different. What topic? Why did it stand out, right? Because that's a lot of what this success with organic is all about, is standing out, and you'll see that mentioned in here a couple of times. But I'm going through and kind of researching and what topics are already catching, and then I'm not copying and pasting those posts or anything. I'm kind of breaking down and taking the crux of the post, why I think it got engagement, what topic, what solution, what problem, what emotion, right? What tied into that, getting people to reply. And then I'm going to create my own post and use that on my personal timeline, maybe in some of my personal groups, maybe in some other groups which have similar audiences but haven't yet seen this type of content. But I'm kind of creating content and posts and topics and subjects that I kind of already know are going to be winners. They're hot button topics in the market right now. And a lot of times, guys, that leads to how I craft my live stream topics. I do research on Monday and Tuesday for my Thursday live stream on what's really hot right now. I probably do research from the previous week's live stream. Like today is Thursday, I'll probably start doing research today for next week's, but I really solidify that on Monday or Tuesday of the week, and then I'm like, okay, I know this topic is relevant right now, people are asking for help with this. And part of all that is in these groups, when I see these topics, I'm also adding things of value. Hey, I see exactly what you're going through. That's actually a problem I've just recently solved by implementing AI, by using a database, right? Whatever the case may be, I'm trying to give some value or some intrigue. Or for instance, one the other day, somebody asked me about a training that you're going to see later in this document. We're going to talk about a little when it comes to the monetization aspect. That we're going to talk about, but they asked, I have a group and I'm getting new members, but I'm awful at engaging. I send out messages and I just get ghosted, no responses. Some people aren't even opening and reading them, right? So like, how do I get better engagement and response rates and actually monetize my group? Now I'm getting people in, but if I can't speak with them, how do I monetize, right? So that was a topic, and I'm like, hey, I recently recorded an SOP on the exact steps that I do when I have a new member join, to ultimately reaching out to them and starting a quick conversation, very direct with their problem or their current situation. Would be happy to share with you. And before I even went back to that post, somebody else, not the person who posted it, but somebody else had read my comment and said, yeah, I'd love so, and I'd love to see it, right? I think because I do this at night, as I said, a lot of times I wake up to the notifications or the response. But this particular woman had said, yeah, I'm definitely interested in that training. By the time I woke up, she had shot me a friend request. She was already in my DMs. And then I realized that my training it was really good, but it was like recorded about 18 months ago. So I was like, you know what? This is going to also offer value to other people, because I saw 27 other people in there saying, yeah, I want help with this. Yeah, I struggle with this, or trying to add value and insight, but it wasn't really anything that would move the needle or anything revolutionary like I was trying to provide. So I'm always trying to either go into these posts in these groups and personal timelines, wherever people are, again, engaging with my ideal audience, solving problems that I solve, talking about pain points and problems in the industry, and pulling out those kind of emotions on why people aren't having success, why people aren't excelling in their business, why they can't scale, why they have, their own mindset and mental and, blocks like that, imposter syndrome, all those different types of things. And then when I see those posts, I try to chime in with a comment that's going to add more value or more, it will resonate, more resonance with the other people to see it, as well as the initial poster of the comment. So basically, if I see a post where someone's like, hey, I'm having problems with my Facebook ads converting, right? A very basic one. I'm going to think, no matter how many comments they have there, it could have 10, 20, 30 of good advice. I'm going to go in there and already know in my head and believe that I can offer more value. I'm going to look at a couple of them, and a couple of them are going to be very basic things, right? Hire an agency, take a course, learn how to target better. They're all going to be this basic stuff. And then I'm going to go in with, hey, you got a lot of great suggestions here. Have you ever tried this? Yada, yada, yada. This is what I've seen in the past. This is where most people go wrong. Does that make sense? And I'm going to offer a lot more value in there. And that's going to attract the person who initially published it, as well as the other people reading and commenting and struggling with that stuff. So there's all these things we can be doing. But as it says here, kind of find hot button topics, issues within your market, then deliver quality, valuable, implementable content to your audience regarding said topics. It's really that simple. And highlighted, and something I've really been focusing on when you guys have seen these numbers and this reach increase I'm talking about, is really mixing up my content. I've been doing different styles of content. When I talk about styles, I'll go into that in a moment. It's been more so the second aspect in different subjects. Things that I wouldn't normally post or talk about that I'm posting about. Some things political, some things humor, some things sport related, some things outside of my normal area of expertise that diversifies my audience, but still has secondary characteristics that I'm looking for. There's a lot of high-level competitive people that are into sports. So when you gravitate toward more people with, say, sport-based and athletic-based posts, a lot of times they have the competitiveness that you're looking for in high-quality entrepreneurs, team members, reps, clients, etc. And same thing with some of those other things I mentioned in terms of different subjects that you may not consider. And it also helps you build that know, like, trust. You're not a guy just sitting there spewing about your offer and your business or your AI solution or your Facebook ad acumen. You're actually talking about funny stuff, common stuff that people engage in, sport, politics, right? I wouldn't get too political, and I'm not going to go into that. I know everybody has their boundaries there. I like to make known my feelings, and I'm never going to be shy about that, but I also don't press the issue, and I'm not trying to alienate the other side of the aisle, for lack of a better phrase, right? But especially in election season, you can test things with politics or make analogies with something you're seeing in the campaign or in the headlines, and then correlate that back. I like to use a lot of posts that also make analogies, right? Analogies to everyday pop culture, headlines and topics, or everyday life. I can correlate something from taking my dog out or getting a discount on this or going for a walk in the countryside, and I can make a correlation into how, going for walks and setting boundaries and giving myself peace and downtime actually makes me perform better when I'm at my desk and helps me create higher caliber content. There's all kinds of ways we can relate things. So mixing up your content and testing what's working in styles. Go back and look at your metrics. What's getting engagement? What's not? Sometimes the stuff we as creators or experts think is the most value or hits the market gets crickets, and then we post something that we think is like common knowledge and people love it. Sometimes we only need to give people that next step up worth of information and knowledge. We don't have to be tenfold higher. Sometimes that in the certain marketplace will alienate some of the audience, and they'll feel uncomfortable. Like if it goes over their head, or they don't feel like they're in the caliber to have this conversation or learn from you, they're never going to engage with your stuff. Now, really quickly, when I talked about other styles, I also mean testing out lead types, which if you guys are familiar and been through any of my trainings before, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. If you guys want information, comment below wherever you're watching this, Facebook, YouTube. And again, anybody on Facebook watching now, if you have any questions or comments, drop them in the comments or the chat under this live stream, and I'll be checking them soon. But when I talk about different styles, I'm talking about kind of lead types. So something you hear me talk about in almost all my trainings, and kind of the secret sauce to a lot of what we do and most successful businesses, is understanding the market sophistication level, right? Really knowing what the customer already knows. Are they already aware of the problem or solution, or are we with a total unaware audience that we need to make aware? Is a story perhaps the best way to first personally engage? Example, most people know they need to lose weight. What they did not know is they can do it faster by doing X, right? So like you pick off, you could start your content with, hey, I know this is common knowledge and everybody knows this, but where they seem to struggle is the actual execution and finding an approach and a strategy that works for them. And then you can inject what we like to call our unexpected solution and start talking about that. And then you're bringing somebody they already knew about the problem, right? They had to lose weight, but they didn't know about this unexpected solution. And maybe now it seems attainable to them when our messaging is dialed in. So sometimes, in many cases, the most important question we can ask is, what does the customer already know? Because I can start my content there. They're going to relate to it. Oh yeah, I already know that. We're not going in over their head like I was just talking about. And then we can start talking about things that they may not know yet and bring their awareness level along. So determining your customer sophistication level is really half the battle. Once you know what your customer already knows, we can identify what lead we'll be using in our ad. And this is the example, 6 lead types that we talk about. This is in backwards of chronological order in terms of sophistication level of how I would use these, and I'll explain and show you on a much simpler graph. But number 1 is an offer-based lead. Straight to the point, right? Hey, get 25% off now. You can only do that to your most sophisticated, most aware audience, right? Somebody you've never met before. You're not going to go with your offer and say, hey, 25% off my weight loss or my coaching. And they're like, who are you? What are you talking about, right? So I'm actually going to go through these 6 through 1 because that's more in lines of the sophistication level. But number 6 says a story-based lead. And that's really good for garnering and engaging an unaware audience, people brand new to your group, your profile, your timeline, people that you're trying to engage with in other groups. They probably want to know and correlate and have some type of, again, I'm going to use the word resonance with your backstory, your values, who you are, before they ever really want to get business advice or relationship advice or weight loss advice, right? So telling the story and taking your customer through the journey of when I started my first company at 21, we had no money. So rather than run ads, we spent our time looking for gaps in competitor strategy, right? So we can start talking about our story, and they're gonna be like, oh, that makes sense. That's a good thing if you're 21 and have no money. I can relate to that, right? A secret lead. You see these a lot with Russell Brunson. 3 crazy secrets on how to unlock more traffic today, right? Secret leads are very good. And what they do is they create intrigue with a big secret before revealing the offer. Like, for example, this method can turn 2 hours of work into 500 new ads to beat your competition. Right? That's great. A proclamation lead, a big, bold statement that will really disarm the reader. Like something that's just going to, they also call this like a pattern interrupt in more video content, but something that's going to really disarm the reader. Like Adam's example in this one says, read this or die. Now that's a bit extreme, but it's going to disarm the reader, and they're going to be like, well, I'm not going to die if I read this. And they might keep, like, it's reverse psychology almost. So something that's going to disarm them. It could be a big proclamation that's closer to your offer. I can show you exactly how to get 10 calls booked within 24 hours, guaranteed, right? Like a big proclamation about it. A little different than a promise lead, which you'll see me get to in a minute. Now, number 3 is my favorite, the one I use most and the one I've had most success with, and I'll elaborate a little more why. But the problem solution lead is really leading with the big problem that keeps your customer up at night. How will you scale your business? How will you lose weight? How will you get in better shape, right? Whatever it is. In this case, it's How will you scale your business when Facebook ad costs are rising? Which it's funny, it's been a common theme for 4 years since we first wrote some of these slides. Super interesting because that's kind of what's driving Audience Lab right now is still that problem. And some problems are timeless. Weight loss, getting in better shape, becoming, leveling up personal development. Like a lot of our offers aren't unique. They've been around forever. They're going to continue to be around. What needs to be unique is how we engage the prospect, our messaging, and more importantly, our solution, which makes it an unexpected solution when it's unique. I always like to explain the problem solution lead, how I write this in terms of structuring posts. Is like I talk about the mainstream problem, I talk about the mainstream solution, I talk about the downfalls or the red flags or the BS behind the mainstream solution, and then I inject that unexpected solution, and I kind of just create intrigue. I don't talk too much about it, just enough so people are like, oh my God, that makes sense. How do I find out more? And then I kind of take it the next step. A lot of what we're doing and everything I'm going to talk about today is leaving breadcrumbs throughout the process and having your prospect follow and make subtle little decisions to keep moving forward. If they consume your video and come back asking a question, that's a great step. If they book a call and they actually show up and they prepared and did their homework, that shows me that it's somebody that's more likely a buyer than somebody who obviously no shows for the call or didn't go through the homework. So we're setting up kind of micro commitments throughout the process. Promise lead is a big promise appealing to an emotional benefit, and usually it's got a strong correlation to your offer. So if somebody can benefit from the result of the promise that you're making with this, they're likely also probably a good fit for your program when you do this right. But a big problem appealing to emotional beliefs. The example, have the whitest smile in the room, right? And that's for a tooth whitening company that we ran some ads for. That was a good example. It was just like very simple, right? Like the promise lead was have the whitest smile of anyone in the room. And that appeals to people's emotions and benefits, right? So let me show you this a little more on a graph real quick, and I'm spending more time than I wanted to here, so I'm going to go through this really quickly. And again, if you want the the lead type training, that's a little more in depth than what I'm doing here, just comment about it. But what I'm going to show you real quick is each lead type I just talked about: story, proclamation, secret, problem, solution, promise lead. They also correlate to an awareness level of your prospect. Generally speaking, unaware means they don't know you, Ray. They don't know about PDOCS. They don't know about Audience Lab. They know nothing about what you do, who you are. That's an unaware lead. I'm better off leading with a story. Now, a problem aware means like they're aware that they have the problem with scaling their business, right? So those people, what works really good is proclamation and secret leads. Secret leads and problem solution leads work really well for a solution aware audience. What is a solution aware audience? It means they're aware that their Facebook ads are struggling, and now they're actually starting to look for solutions. I can take a course, I can do it myself, I can hire somebody. And once they become solution aware, it leads into product aware. Okay, so what are the different prices? What are the options? DIY, done with you, done for you, all of those things, right? So for both solution and product aware audiences, I love the problem solution leads and even promise leads as they become more and more product aware, I would say. And then your most aware is where you can go with the offer based leads. That's very direct. Have 5 spots open right now for anybody that's looking to dive into our business scaling program. You get a free this, you get 20% off, right? So you would take that to your warm market, to your group, to your warm email list, people that have opted in and asked for information. So that's where you would make your offer leads. Again, you're not going to make an offer lead to a totally unaware or even just a problem aware when they don't even know about solutions or products yet. You're not going to go to with an offer. So that's kind of how that breaks down. And again, I spent a little more time on that than I wanted to. So let's go back into what's helping with virality, reach, and engagement lately. Number 2, and this is kind of by far the most important factor, but if we're not researching and testing much and tweaking things, you're probably going to be doing the same old thing, and that's where consistency gets to be more of a deterrent for many entrepreneurs. It's like, I am posting consistently, but I get 1 like, and no, it's probably because you're not doing research. You're not looking for outlier posts. You're not testing different subjects and styles. Sometimes your content is great, but you just got the wrong lead type. You can keep the whole meat and potatoes of your post, go try a different lead type, and then it might all of a sudden hit. So you got to test consistency with the posting and the activity and the commenting, also with the testing and the research. And then within consistency, there's obviously activity. All right, I need to post consistently. What else do I need to be doing? Well, for good organic reach, I have 4 main things that I do and my setters do. I have them do a minimum of 3 posts a day, I recommend 2 within outside communities, other groups, other areas, and then 1 within where I say traffic we control, my own timeline, our own personal group, etc. So 3 posts per day, 15 new friend requests, 10 new cold DMs, and a total of 20 DMs. The difference between the new and the total is new are cold, never spoken with this person. As we're doing this regularly, 20 means I'm following up with people. People said touch base with me next week, next month, in 48 hours. I have people I've sent resources to, and then I'm leaving the breadcrumbs. So in total, 10 new DMs, 20 total DMs, 15 friend requests, and 3 posts per day. And that's the activity within the metrics that matter and what's required to see results and success. Next, quality. Content is king, and if that content isn't hitting with your audience, odds are your content's trash. Like, think, how do I stand out with my posts and videos? And even to go further, my comments on posts, replies to other comments, memes, all those things. Little things that stand out. Like, for instance, I actually have a screenshot of it here, but this was in an ad for a t-shirt, ironically enough. And it said, F this, F it, F that, F you, F the world. Like, it was just, it's a comedy t-shirt. Now, I remember a famous movie quote from a line with something exactly like that. So that's what I put in the comment and stood out. It's funny, it got like 20, my comment underneath somebody else's ad got at least 20 impressions, at least 10 comments and replies. And I just said, it said F this. I just said, very simply, certainly illustrates the diversity of the word. And people were cracking up because either A, it's kind of funny, or B, they made the correlation to the movie quote and they started putting gifs from the movie and lines from the movie, right? And it just elicits engagement, something different that stands out with everything I do. That's something that's always in my mind. The simple thing people ask in all these groups in a very entry-level entrepreneur-based post and question I see is, tell me about what you do. What problem do you solve? Who do you work with? Like, and people talk, I'm a coach and I work with people, helping them overcome limited traumas and mindset and beliefs. And in under 30 days in my 12 courses and my Kajabi curriculum, they achieve this crazy transformation without giving up their firstborn child, right? And I'll come in there and be like, what do you do? I snap necks and cash checks. Boom, mic drop. Like, something funny that's going to stand out. And they're like, what do you mean by that? I mean, I close deals and I bring in new clients. That's what I do, right? And then I can talk about it more. But little things like that get attention and stand out are what makes the big differences. So I'm trying to give you all kinds of examples, not just business related, but I do this, like I did one the other day we've all seen these stupid posts, right? This guy's better than this guy if they're talking sports, when it's a stupid comparison, or, whatever. I mean, we just see all kinds of stupid things that make no sense. So I have this little meme that shows a Durex wrapper and says, a condom could have prevented this post, right? So when I see stupid posts, I drop that. And on the last one I did got like 75 laughing reactions. People commenting, you're right, man. Somebody should have used a condom for this person. And just, it creates reactions. So little things we can do. And as I said, you'll be surprised at like what actually works when we're doing this. But some of the stuff I'm talking about, again, is really standing out with my content. And again, mixing it up. Video content is king. Are we mixing in shorts and stories and reels with, long form typed text content? Are we doing a mix of long form and short form? Are we creating our content with the objective to elicit a reply of substance, right? Not just a, yes, Ray, that makes sense. Something that's actually going to give me some substance to actually go and reply and drop some value to that person, or give them a knowledge gap, or, come in with some, hey man, now that you mentioned what's going on, I actually just recorded a training exactly on that. Cool if I send you over the video and you just give me a little feedback about your thoughts, right? And then you're also taking that person further along. So again, as I say, think how to stand out with my posts, videos, comments on posts, replies to other comments, memes, any little advantage we can get, right? And then the approach objective. As many people might think this is the most important aspect, really, if we're not doing the 4 things above, this won't matter that much, how much our approach and objective is dialed in, if we're not researching, if we're not consistent, if we're not doing the activity, if we're not trying different subject matter and different stylistically approaches, different lead types, all the things I'm covering. And then that comes into your objective, right? My objective right now is to literally garner more attention, reach, add more followers, and then get them into my funnel. Like you guys will see today, I did a story-based post. That's because the way my reach and engagement is blowing up lately, I see the amount of new followers, new friend requests I'm raking in, and I know probably 10 to 20% of my followers or viewers know very little about my backstory. I'm not going to really get them with my business acumen or my client case studies if they don't really know me or know what I do. So I created a very specific story-based post just to try to reach that 10, 20, 30% of the audience I don't expect the people that have been following me for 2 years to click the interview and watch my backstory and stuff. Maybe some will, because I did drop some really new cool stuff in that one particular. But like, what I'm saying is, when I'm doing a story based post, it's to reach my newer audience, my unaware audience, and I did it with a very specific objective. If I get more reach, more engagement, more followers, now I need to go with a story based post this week, a story based reel this week, right? And things that's going to engage. The objective of the specific offer, the specific solution, the specific program you may be, maybe you're hyping your 12-week coaching program. Maybe you have a mastermind. Maybe you have a one-day workshop. Maybe you have a cool little masterclass. Like, very specific. My content is going to lead into the next aspect of where I want to drive people, right? So, very, very important. Now, as I say here, these tips above are what really all the consistent performing organic service providers, or as you guys might know them, the gurus out there, are doing, and they will continue to do, because it works. They're all consistent. They all are testing different things. They're all mixing video, short form, long form, text content. They're on multiple platforms, right? It might seem daunting, but a lot of this stuff, I don't put more than 2 hours a day into my organic. And I'm talking about the messaging, the posts, the research, all of that. I only allot about 2 hours a day, and I get quite a lot of activity done, as you've seen by what I'm covering, but also the numbers in the screenshots if you guys saw the post. I'm going to take a quick little breather momentarily while I check and just see if there's any questions going on in here. And then I will dive back to the rest of this. So I got reactions. I see a couple reactions to it, looks like. What are your thoughts on the shadow banning? So Tony, that's really good. And I am one that has been and continues to be shadow banned. And it's certainly a thing. Generally speaking, and what I've found out, luckily I have a friend on Facebook's what's the actual position? It's like a restriction and compliance department. I forget the exact term, but I have a friend basically that, once I saw my reach and my engagement, and this has been going on for a couple of years, I was like, what's going on? Like, how do they judge whose content gets seen more, who gets more reach than others? Like, what feeds into that algorithm? He's like, well, once you get flagged once or twice for certain things that go against Facebook's real beliefs, you get put on, for lack of a better phrase, he said, a naughty list. Now, I think I've showed up on a minimum of 7 of those in his system when I've talked to him. And usually for me, to be honest, Tony, it's about my political beliefs and a lot of the, policies and things going on in the country I disagree with, and I voice that. Facebook doesn't like when you go when you go away from the rainbows and unicorns and everything's great narrative that's going on in the country, and you put some facts or your own feelings, or you're from the other side, whatever. So a lot of times it's one thing to help avoid shadow banning, but this is a personal choice you have to make. You have to actually relinquish a little of your backbone and maybe not speak or stand up for everything. And it's happening all over the place. People are afraid to speak up and stand out in so many different communities, whether it's racially, whether it's gender, whether it's sex, whether it's, competing in sports, whether there's all kinds of things going on where people have an opinion and they're afraid to say it because they're afraid of being canceled, banned. So that's part of it. So you really have to weigh, do my values and beliefs and do I have enough conviction where I'm going to overcome that and still F their algorithm, for lack of a better phrase, and really create my personal, genuine content. And I've kind of persevered through that. I've gone through a lot of shadow banning, and I've had people actually comment on my post, dude, this is awesome. I can tell it's been shadow banned. I'm like, yeah, I know. I expect it. I don't really care. I'm going to keep doing it because stuff is still going to hit, and there's going to be other posts and content that's not very controversial with Facebook, and it'll never feed into kind of the shadow banning thing. But there's a lot of that going on, and when you're at the whims of a private platform that can make their own internal policies, you kind of have to adhere to them to the extent, but also you have to weigh your options and really your pros and cons. Like, for a while, I was staying away from any, racy or cross the line memes because I was posting them in certain groups and getting banned. And we all know how this goes. There's a meme going around that I saw about it today. It's funny how when I get banned from Facebook, it's from something I found on Facebook, and that's so true. It's like other people are allowed to post it, but because Facebook doesn't like you, or you've been put on a naughty list, or they don't agree with you, you're going to get banned, and their post is going to stay up and continue to get engagement. So there's no rhyme or reason to what they're doing. It's very selective, and it's very what they want to do. hopefully that sheds a little light on it. But I just say stay persistent and keep creating new content and keep testing because stuff's going to hit. I mean, I'm shadow banned and I've seen a 2,000% increase in the last number of days, and some of these metrics are crazy. When I actually wrote this post earlier, it was at 1,000%. My most recent screenshot shows I passed the 2,000% increase in engagement in the last 28 days, which is crazy because you guys know I'm always active. So a lot of this stuff and the things I'm talking about is really hitting. And I'm even kind of overcoming that um, shadow ban, thing that's happening. There's really no other way to put it. So great question. I can't speak to it much more than that, but I know, if you get put on one of Facebook's naughty lists, for lack of a better phrase, you're much more likely to have your content restricted, flagged, pulled off the platform, and reach diminished. You just have to overcome that with the things we talked about: consistency, new content, testing, right? All those things. So yeah, and then the ways to monetize and organize these efforts and results. There's a few different, right? Once we start doing organic, if we're doing that on our own timeline, if we have our own group potentially, as I'm going to talk about in the first one here, there's different ways. Like once we engage with somebody, okay, somebody liked my content, they're commenting, they're interested, they want to know more. Like, how does that work into ultimately converting them to a customer, a client, a call booked, them to view my resource, join my masterclass, whatever. Now, number one, and what I recommend is creating a group or a community where you can send people. So once you engage with them and you're DMing them or what have you, you could just simply say, something to the effect of, hey, Tony, welcome to my new Facebook group. We're happy to have you in here, yada, yada, yada. Hold on, where was I just got sidetracked. Creating a community, and yeah. So anyway, when we bring people into our group, I have a full training that shows you how to do this, but the overall gist of it is, when I start talking with somebody, I want to have a community where I can send them. So I'm going to highlight, hey, thanks for commenting on my thing, yada, yada, yada. Hey, you might not know, but we have this awesome free Facebook group where we help people dial in their market research, their copywriting, their client acquisition, their organic outreach, and even their paid ads. In addition, I have a free guide section. I have a free course up in the guide section, and I do live streams every week with guest speakers. I think that might really offer you some value with what you just told me you were trying to achieve. Are you cool with checking it out? Yeah, I am. Cool. Here's the link. So all I'm doing is, now that I'm engaging with them, I'm trying to show them, hey, this could be of value to you, right? Would that interest you? And if we could show you how to do those things, do you think that would help you achieve X? Well, yeah, Ray, if you could show me how to, get in my organic content, it would definitely help me book more calls. Great. Join our free group. I'll look forward to seeing you in the inside. Then this training here shows you exactly how to set up your questioning and that group into a monetization funnel. So that's included here in this document. I'm going to post the document in the comments under Facebook. And if you're watching on YouTube, this document will already be underneath the video in the description. So you can also get access to that training. And in that training has the 10-step SOP you're going to see here. So here's that video I just mentioned. And this whole 10-step SOP is all about the monetization. So that is right inside that other link that you guys can click on right here. When you do down in the description, you can get that document, but I don't have the time, and that's not really the total objective here. There's a whole separate training. I think I just filmed it like yesterday. It's super, super recent, like within the last 24 to 48 hours. Very, very new. So yeah, then secondly, so Facebook group is one, and then understanding how to monetize and turn it into a booking funnel. Number two is having a solid DM outreach approach. Once people connect with you, add you as a friend, follow you, engage with your content, what have you, and then have a very solid messenger system or method. You guys have seen, I have a lot of trainings on that. I can help elaborate on that more. Sometimes you can go do it to a direct CTA. So if you have a low ticket product, $7, if you sell more physical products, you can literally, when somebody engages, you might be able to just send them, but as it says in parentheses, when applicable, meaning the industry and the niche and the price point, but not recommended for many offers, and a majority of the offers I work with and do myself. But in the right offer, the e-com, low ticket, selling my ebook or my PDF for $7. A lot of times, right when you engage, hey man, I saw you commented on my post. Hey, I have this great little ebook that's helped people, dial in their personal development and ultimately achieve their relationship they were looking for. It's only $7. Check out the link. And then your link should do the heavy lifting. Your landing page, when it's set up right, which I teach people how to create landing pages that actually convert, that will actually do the selling, and you don't need to do too much. But again, only where it's applicable. Build out an organic micro commitment process and expedite your sales cycle. That's very important. Like I said, leaving that trail of breadcrumbs and having them make little subtle commitments and saying, yeah, Ray, that totally makes sense. Yes, I want that video. Yes, I went through the homework and this was my biggest takeaway. Yes, I'm open to hopping on a call and hearing about your offer. All those are little parts of your process where you're getting them to make little micro commitments, which make the process A, speed up, but B, be more effective and efficient in terms of how much people show up, how prepared they show up, and how likely they are to convert and how qualified they are, really. Is really what that boils down to. And then building a custom process. In many cases, I would do this custom with the person, like I do in the kickoff call. Do I have the document still open? My kickoff document. So there's one little kickoff research you guys have probably seen. This is actually one we're working on internally. But something I have people do. Oh no, this was for a recent client. Perfect. So what I have people do is really like, let's dial down the niche in the industry we're attacking. Let's dial down the offer very precisely. Let's dial down our ideal client. And this one we went more in depth with her on another document. What do we need to do right now? Now she had the luxury of already having 27 warm business owners in her network asking her to pitch them. So she just had to refine the offer, get it down, and literally start signing new clients. Strategy approach, hit warm network and referrals. So for you or somebody else, what I'm talking about when we get into objective and strategy approach here in this document is like, is my main funnel capturing their emails? Is that what I want to do in my organic process? Do I just want to say, hey man, shoot me over your best email. I'll be happy to give you that free training that helps you scale your business, helps you dial in your Facebook ads, helps you lose weight, whatever. So maybe you're trying to capture email and your email marketing is your main thing. Maybe you're doing SMS marketing. So we would create your organic system to ultimately collect an SMS number. Maybe we want to collect other social medias. Maybe we're like, cool, I'd also love to connect on LinkedIn, and that's where your real campaigns and outreach is value. Maybe we're going to just leverage lead magnets and automated assets and resources, as I've talked about. So we just want to create the funnel or the organic process to drive them to check out that asset or that lead magnet. And then within there, we have further calls to action. Link to my program, link to my group, wherever the next step is. So it's just that in a nutshell. Last thing I'm going to cover super quickly before I dive back into the comments and questions one more time is some of the things I've covered, and this is a document I created. Does it say the date? I think I drew this up and typed this out like last November, if I'm not mistaken. But organic content strategies and creation things. So we talked about a lot of these, but what I just want to highlight here is number 2. And I covered some of these, but these are just different ideas. The simple question-based post, simple short-form question-based post, short-form content, long-form, story-based, video, value-based, result-based, new update, example, a new strategy that we implemented in the last 10 days. This is what I'm doing exactly right now. New strategy I've implemented in the last 15 days to see a 2,000% increase in my organic reach, right? Boom, like just talking about that. Doing the research and finding outlier posts and reverse engineering those topics to create your content. So a lot of the things I talked about, but there's kind of full list of it, right? New features and deliverables, offers. So for more offer-based and what was the last one? Product-based posts, as I talked about with lead types. That's great for. Utilizing, once you have your offer built out, what I do for clients is build out about, generally speaking, 4 core pillars and about 3 under each pillar subcomponents or subtopics. Each of those is generally great to great content. Create a little video about your pillar 2, subtopic 3, and exactly how that got a client or result. Repurposing and evolving content. We all see that hit our feed. Hey, something you posted a year, 2 years ago. Well, you've probably learned a lot more and developed more. You might have a different take on that. So take that and repurpose it and evolve that content and rewrite it. And then republish it, especially content that hit and delivered in the past. A lot of times we don't look to what we posted a year, 2, 3 years ago that got serious engagement. You could literally we could just repost as well, especially when we're always growing. People that didn't see, people that when you posted a year or 2 years ago, a lot of the people that are now following you or on your timeline probably weren't there. So sometimes it's as simple as just reposting content that worked in the past. So those are all some of the things I wanted to cover. But yeah, just some things I'm really working on in terms of growing my reach, my engagement, and ultimately how we monetize, which we kind of had that part dialed in, but I wanted to lay that out for you guys. So just a little recap before I check the questions one more time. Research and testing, consistency, activity, quality of content, and the approach and objective. Just be refining those type of things. Great. So let me go in and see if there was any more comments. before I hop off here. And if you guys are watching here on YouTube, you have any questions on what I covered, or more importantly, what I love from everybody, and I don't expect this because people don't do it generally, but I'd love to know your biggest takeaway, or what you got of value, or what you can go implement and execute on right away that I kind of covered today. So, nope, it was just only Tony's comment. Maybe I'm being shadow banned and people aren't seeing my live, Tony, and that's why you're the only comment. No, who knows? I kind of threw this one together last minute. My whole thing outline changed on the topic and the guest speaker this week, as you guys might have saw in my post, talking about this live stream. But covered a lot, went through a lot of stuff, and again, underneath in the comments, I will go place this document right now on Facebook, and in the YouTube video, it will be in the description below. Thanks, everybody, and we will catch up soon.